All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul, but only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, you'll receive instructions on how to meditate, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He's the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ram Ashram Satsang. He was born into a satsang family where he experienced his family members obtain states of enlightenment and lead lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. And during that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. And upon arriving to the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangees. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English-speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England, facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare nature form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
Thank you, Eddie. Happy Tuesday, everyone. So I think we will continue to discuss the monkey mind. There's a lot of, there's always this question of, somehow and sometimes it's just a perception, but, it's also when we are unable to control the monkey mind, and we feel that we can't concentrate, we can't meditate. The question comes that, why is that? So last weekend we discussed that. Actually, the weekend before that, when I was in Connecticut, in one session we talked about all these 9 elements of or reasons why we are unable to concentrate at length. So, just going over the first couple of those. So the 5 senses, absolutely, that those are the portals to the world, and our 5 senses essentially make us focus outward. And as Eddie was saying, this is about going inwards, concentrating inwards, trying to find love, light, and peace inside. And essentially, the 5 senses typically, normally, naturally do the complete opposite. So interestingly, the question, these reasons for why the monkey mind cannot be controlled came from a book by Panditji Maharaj, one of Guru Maharaj's followers, who really, took this process to the nooks and corners of India, and really traveled a lot, talked about this, and he wrote a book, which, if I was to translate, would be Self-Realization, a Journey. And in that journey, if we cannot get our mind to concentrate and meditate, then we got a problem. So there is a whole chapter dedicated to that. So I think the questions he's asking in the first, in the beginning, and talking about the five senses, is that, see here, who's in charge? Who's the boss? Do we really, are we really free? Is our consciousness in charge, or we are caught up in the clutches of our minds? Mind and brain should operate under the guidance of our conscience and consciousness. And if that was happening, then you would be able to hear the inner voice, your you would be more intuitive. And so interestingly, we talk about what's happening in the world and what's not going right, but then within our inner world, these five senses are causing havoc every day. So that was point number one, that one of our five senses becomes overpowering and causes the ripple effects. And the second one is, so second and third are in the context of Sat, Raj, and Tham. So those are the three energies that basically drive our behavior. So at any given point in time, one of these three are dominant. So when the positive is dominant, which is not very common or natural, because negativity and a blend of negative and positive, those are the two things that we see normally in the world. So Satsang, as again Eddie was describing, Satsang is to be with the positive energy, and Satsang actually enhances, instills, imbibes positive energy, drives us to store and receive, store, and basically refresh positive energy. So that is, unfortunately not a very, it should be, but it's not as common as it ought to be. Instead, the other two, which is, so one is the negativity is on the rise. So that's the third point. So that's, across the board in our interactions, in our thought processes. There's so many triggers, there are so many situations, there are so many things that would, create this negative energy, the cloud of negativity that affects us and wouldn't let us concentrate. But then there is this third state, which is of action. So positive and negative, when they, whatever the fraction or whatever the blend be, the positive and negative create this action, which could be either positive direction or negative direction. So our passions and ambitions are on the rise. And when that's happening, even if it is good, it's action, it is, I mean, look at positive activity also sometimes would take over. And when it takes over, we're not able to concentrate. So it's not a bad thing. It's just that we cannot be in a overdrive mode 24/7. So, we need to create a balance, and more than a balance, I think it's more about when we interact with the world, when we do the normal things. So 23 hours, keep doing what we need to do. There is a very high degree of probability that we will be either in point number 2 or 3. And hence, spend an hour every day in satsang, in receiving, storing, and refreshing, positive energy. So we'll talk more later, but let's practice that. Our receiving, refreshing, and storing positive energy. So that's what Guru Maharaj gave it to us. A process that essentially focuses on the 4 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. So out of the 8, the 4 limbs are the focus of the practice that we will do now. So inward orientation, for that, sit in a relaxed posture, eyes lightly closed, and then concentrate. The object of concentration, or what we want to manifest, is this transcendental energy in form of light, which is right here, right now. Feel the presence. And this light is entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and that we're becoming one with this light. When mind wanders away, bring it back. So that's also inward orientation. Bring it back to this thought and this thought alone. That this transcendental energy in form of light is right here, right now, and it's entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we're becoming one with this light. We'll start with music. Music fades away. We'll go deep into silent meditation, and then we bring back, transition out of this meditation with music again. Let's start now. Happy Tuesday. So Eddie, how are you doing?
Oh, doing great, Sanjeev. I did get your email, so that works for me. That's no problem.
Okay.
Today's topic is a good one because I think it answers the question that many people have had, over the past years. They've often asked you, why can I not focus more during the meditation? Why am I agitated? Or why do I have the monkey mind? And this basically comes down to you having peace in your heart. This type of behaviors that we engage in are in opposition to the yams and niyams, and they cause disturbances within our heart. When our heart is disturbed, we cannot calm our minds, and we're not happy as a result of that as well. And so you pointing these points out today gives people an idea of where they should start improving themselves. Now, we do know that modifying behavior and acting consistent with the yams and niyams is almost impossible. Mm-hmm. And then the solution for that, right? The solution for that is, guess what? It's Satsang. It's why you're here today. So
yeah, isn't that very interesting, right? So it's like a catch-22 or a circular reference where you're just so to get to a better place, you need to be doing satsang, but to not being in a better place, you still need. So it's a so I think, and we have talked about this. You have referred to this several times, like your mind is concentrated or not, you're feeling refreshed or not, you ought to meditate. Right? So the physical act of sitting in meditation and making an effort towards it is more important than how you really feel. If you feel great, which ought to be, the goal, and which ought to be where we need to be. But if we are in one of these phases where we cannot concentrate, our monkey mind is not allowing us to meditate, but if you keep at it, you will get there, right?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And there's always that one phase where you feel like you're not making any progress, but you really are. And so, by continuing to come to Satsang and practice, you'll get through that region and, move on and move forward in your progress, your spiritual progress. So that really is the key.
Absolutely. So Jeff, how are you doing? And Omkar, any thoughts before we wrap up? I think we can wrap up a bit early today.
Namaste, Bhaiya. Namaste, everyone. No, actually, I joined late today, so, but very well said that by continuing this practice, probably we can, depending our capability now, we can increase our capability to hold more. That's what this practice will help us to do. So.
Absolutely. All right. So on that note, we can wrap up for today and have a great week ahead, and be love, light, and peace be with you.